This is a quick rundown of Project 3 Memory Loftus Redo. The first thing you must do is select a video clip. It should be of an event that doesn't last more than about 30 to 60 seconds in length. The video clip should be 30 to 60 seconds, not the event. So it is okay that if you have time in there where nothing really eventful is happening, that's perfectly okay. You may actually want the viewers to watch kind of some buffer time before the big event to see if they really key in on all of the things that are going on. The event could be a car accident. It could be a minor crime, no violence, no blood, no bad language. It should be something that you feel comfortable presenting in school, in class, to a teacher or an administrator. So make sure that it's appropriate. The other thing is that the clip should not include anyone well known, and it shouldn't come from a source where people have seen it over and over and over again. So it shouldn't be a popular TikTok. It shouldn't be something that people already seem to know. It also should be a video clip that isn't so blatantly obvious, doesn't give you all of the answers, because really what you want to see is whether or not your subjects are going to reconstruct memories. Once you've selected your video clip, make sure that you've selected that 30 to 60 second portion that you want to show and have that set up. Step 2 involves constructing of questions and finding and using your subjects. So you've been provided with 8 questions, but they're not the ones you must use. You can use those, modify, or create 8 individual questions that are more about your video. It is worth mentioning that you can create questions that might introduce the misinformation effect. You can ask questions that may suggest to the subjects something that they didn't in fact see. And that might help you later when you start looking at your analysis. It might be easier if you go right to the point and see if you can construct a false memory. With those 8 questions, they must be written down, and you must have an answer key. Both of those components must be submitted with the overall project. You will then select 10 subjects. It's really important with your subjects that you tell them that they should not speak or share any information with each other. It is really what they remember. Present the video to your 10 subjects, and then give them a small amount of time before you provide them with the questions. The questions shouldn't be provided during the video. They should be provided after, almost like they were witnesses to a crime. So ideally, give them the video, let them watch it, again, 30 to 60 seconds, and then give them a minute or two, legitimately 60 to 120 seconds, to kind of think about maybe what they saw, but not necessarily write down anything or speak about anything. Then provide the subjects with the questions and have them write their answers. You can prompt them to be as detailed as possible or to give you as much information as possible. But having seen this done in the past, sometimes friends or other students won't put a ton of detail in, and it will make your analysis harder. So make sure that you do ask them to write as much detail as possible. All of this data must be submitted with your analysis paper. So again, 8 questions with an answer key. Provide those questions after the video to your subjects. Have your subjects write their answers, and then turn in all of that data. Your third step is the analysis and summarization of your data into your paper. This can be done as a PowerPoint, but still you should be presenting me with paragraphs, or you can actually just write a nice essay. But again, information should be clearly organized and not all jumbled together. First step in the paper, you have to explain how memories are formed. Think Atkinson-Shiffrin method. You should then describe your video, a really brief synopsis of what it was that your subjects watched. I can then pair that up with the video that you submit and make sure that that was in fact what you showed. You are then going to take your 10 subjects and the 8 questions that they answered and determine which of those questions they were most accurate in, which questions they were most inaccurate in. All 8 questions should be analyzed. After you do that, you'll talk about schemas. Remember, when we talk about schemas, we're talking about organized frameworks of knowledge. And this goes back into that entire idea from the memory unit when we looked at that we have setups for how we have expectations of events in our lives. I gave you guys a picture of a workstation and asked you if you saw a computer. And many of you said yes, because your mental framework for a home workstation involves a computer, even though there wasn't one there. How do schemas impact what people thought they saw or assumed they should see in your scenario? You'll need to explain to me why it was really important to prevent the subjects from talking to each other, and it has to be more than just to prevent them from sharing information. Why should we not let them share information? You'll want to talk about how stress impacts memory, and for this, you may want to go back into the video and also maybe go back into the stress section in your textbook to look at how stress does impact memory. The final thing I ask you is suggest a way to reduce the misinformation effect in the criminal justice system or in criminal justice cases. Please understand, officers are already very well versed in separating witnesses, interviewing them separately, and not providing leading questions or presuppositions. That can't be your fix. They're already trained in that. So is there something else that you can think of? Explain how your solution would reduce the misinformation effect, and explain how your solution might not be effective in all scenarios. You will have to think outside the box. So again, you can't just say train police officers more. They're already trained. You cannot say that it has to be something that I've already told you has already been done. Think of a unique and a novel solution to this problem. Your final step is your submission. You should submit a link to your video clip. You need to submit the questions that you constructed or used, an answer key to those questions, all of your subjects' responses in their handwriting, and eventually your essay analysis of everything that you gathered from this experiment. All of that should be back into me on your assigned due date. Please let me know if you have any questions.